Hi, we're with Becks Armstrong, who has developed an app, a mindfulness app for women over 40, and it's called Clarity, which Joe and I have actually had a little test with, which helped me a lot, I'll have to say, when the weather was exceedingly hot and I couldn't go to sleep, and I'll talk to you about that afterwards anyway. Good.
Well, mindfulness is something that we're always talking about as a way of managing menopause. Now, we know that mindfulness is Bex' bag, so we've asked Bex here today to tell us a little bit more about it. So Bex, tell us a little bit about it. I mean, actually, what's your background? How did you come to develop that?
Because you've got an interesting background.
I have an interesting background, yeah. So I'm trained as an acupuncturist, degree trained as an acupuncturist, and I learned, we studied the philosophies of Taoism, Buddhism and Confucianism at university. So from there we were taught mindfulness and how to bring it into the practice. So I used to do it in my acupuncture practice. So it all started there. And going many steps forward, I had a clinical practice for many years, and then I moved to the UK and gave up the practice. I went into work in fast growth tech companies, and all of a sudden had a light bulb moment of, hold on a second, there's something I can do here. I started a test app with pregnancy because I have a very strong women's health background, and pregnancy is my bag, or one of my bags. And from there I just created a tester app, and then realized that actually the market was very covered for pregnancy, but there was nothing for mindfulness in menopause. So I just moved it along. I did all of my testing with my friends, because of course my friends, fast forward, are all now over 40, and they were all like, we need something. So I did a lot of my testing with my friends, and then took it slightly further out and slightly further out, got the app made, and now we have mindfulness app.
So mindfulness and menopause, let's back up onto the benefits, because I think we talk about it in every one of our symptoms, don't
absolutely,
we?
yeah.
But it would be really interesting to hear the theoretical or the evidence base for mindfulness and menopause.
There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of scientific evidence that's coming out, and more every day. There's some fantastic stuff for hot flushes. There was a lady at King's College that had done some research in mindfulness for hot flushes, and giving them a handbook reduced their symptoms by 30%. So that handbook is just explaining what hot flushes are, and then from there you welcome the hot flush in, essentially. So you just don't fight it, and by not fighting it,
so you're actually relaxing.
You're relaxing into it, and just go, okay, well, just give me the surge of energy. By doing that, you can then sort of not have as many hot flushes, and they won't be as severe. So you can just use mindfulness by just becoming aware of what's happening, and just don't judge it, just let it in.
That's part of the science, of the evidence, because I think people do need to be reassured.
But there's some really fundamentally basic things. It's like brain training. So it's just teaching your brain to take you on a different path. So if you get into a negative thought loop, you can get yourself into anxiety or go down into depression. And one of the ways to fight depression is to just sit with it and feel it and not judge it, and then look at something positive. So starting a grateful journal, or just looking at a colour and really appreciating the colour. Like, this couch is amazing. So looking at colour and just finding the joy in stuff. Because I think as we are more stressed, busier, in that squeeze generation of looking after our parents, looking after our kids and or grandkids, work, getting into management positions, we're just so
we've got less and less time to think about ourselves.
No me time, no hashtag self-care. So it's just really important that with the mindfulness is training your brain to just stop for a second to help with the worrying. So you just kind of bring it back and just go and look
And
at
it's
the
literally
things
10
around
minutes
you.
in your day.
Yeah, it can be
Even
2
less,
minutes. It
yeah.
can be, I've got 1 minute on there just for somebody that just needs a quick hit.
Could you just tell us a little bit about your app? Because obviously Joe and I have used it and we understand how it works, but obviously for viewers who are interested, it's called Clarity, and
And just to say, this is not a commercial link. We've just tested it for Becks, and we both love it. I've used it for calming, and you've used it for sleep. Yeah.
Right.
So over to you.
I basically, when you're looking at people and their lives, you have to adjust to their lives. I'm not creating an app and then you try and figure it out. I've tried to figure out how you live and create it around it. So if you only have 1 minute but you really need some help, I've got something for you. If you're having a panic attack, the Instacalm, I've tested and tested and tested that. It works really well. I've got the Instacool. So basically what we're doing is rumination, which is the persistent, constant sort of thought pattern in your head of, that beating yourself up. Just stop for a second. Just take a nice
That's
breath.
a really nice piece of advice.
And you literally
Good
just
advice.
pull yourself up for a second. If you know that it's sort of, if you're busy or if you're feeling, and your neck's tight and your jaw's tight and you just stop and you just refocus. So focusing, a lot of the time with mindfulness, you see people saying breathe in and out your nose. Like just focus on the air coming in and out your nose, and you can feel your nostril hair, and you can but all that does is stops you from that whir. But there's things in the app for sleep, things if you're highly anxious, things. I like the Calm Hope. Calm Hope to me is a really gentle thing, because actually what does calm feel like?
And then you have sounds, haven't you, like crackling fires or a distant storm. I quite like that one.
Like the windscreen wiper.
And the windscreen, where did that one come from?
I liked that when so we chose different backgrounds because people like different things, and I like crackling fire, but some people when they're hot they don't want to listen to a crackling fire. And you've got to try.
I don't even have any at all.
I'm sometimes do, sometimes don't, but the thought behind the windscreen wipers is it's nice to hear the sound of the rain, but that metronome,
yes, it is
really sends me off.
Yeah,
it really does. And then you can also choose the way that you breathe with the app. So we do a very special kind of breathing. It's in and out your nose for the most part, unless we sort of walk you through something else. But I've created 3 animations that you choose what animation works for you, and you don't kind of sit and just use that animation while listening, because actually you should be listening. It's just a guide, so it won't be sort of.
And I've had people say that this isn't in tune with my breathing, but you've said that.
It's not meant for that.
I think it probably, if people download your app, you start looking at that, and once you get into using it, you don't actually look at the phone at all. You're just lulled with your voice.
Yeah, I would say the voice. So you've got Becks and is it Murray?
Murray.
So you either have Becks's incredibly calming voice, and what I love about it, I think, which is really important, we're all talking about being time stretched. There are shorter and longer ones. I really like it. They've got the consistency of the 2 voices.
He's an ex-radio BBC journalist,
so he's got a voice. He's got
a very nice voice, but his voice is very different to mine. And when I was doing the testing, not everybody's going to like my voice, and that's okay. And some people really like a man's voice, and that's okay too. So for the main mindfulness, the actual classical mindfulness, because mindfulness has a couple of really classic sessions, we've both done it, so that you can choose who you like, and on the day you might feel something different, so that we actually created it with that in mind, and I think it works that way. When we get into, because we've got a lot in the pipeline that we're going to do, and when we get into some of the more structural menopausal sessions, they'll be my voice, because I think that it makes more sense to have a woman's voice, just because some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is more intimate, and I think it's just more appropriate to have a woman's voice.
Do you think mindfulness works almost for every menopausal issue, symptom? There's something that you could
Yeah, I think that there's not much in our lives that we can't become better at mindfully. So an example of that would be PMT or actual period pain, because when you're perimenopausal, it comes and goes at various times, and period pain, and you can actually turn down the pain by just acknowledging it and not judging it. But the hope is that you'll be able to change the perception.
And I think a lot of the things that women suffer, once they've got an understanding of why it's happening, and then once they are able to think about, okay, this is happening and that's the reason why, but this is a way I can manage it.
Yes.
That just almost, over a process of not that long a time can help to deal with this. And I think that's what mindfulness really helped me with, is just like, God, all this anxiety, and I was just whipping myself up into a complete frenzy. But actually, once you stand back and think, okay, I know this is my hormones causing this, and I'm not the only one, and I'm not going mad, but this is a way you can deal with it naturally, without having to pop any pills or anything.
But it doesn't. This is the beauty of mindfulness is that you can be on HRT, you can still be mindful.
Absolutely.
You can be on bioidenticals, you can still do mindfulness. It's not it's not going to influence it in any way what medication you're taking or how you live your life, but it will make you feel better. But the trick is consistency. So the trick to get better at it is daily practice.
Okay.
So even if you just do like a 2-minute breathing exercise when you wake up or when you go to bed, just daily doing 2 minutes of breathing.
Same time-ish?
It's better if you can. To get into a habit, it's best to do it at the same time. But sometimes the kids come in early and sometimes you need to rush off to work. But it's just about actually thinking about it and doing it daily.
And you can do it anywhere, can't you?
You can do it anywhere.
You need to take yourself. It's lovely, I think, if you can take yourself off to a quiet room, but
just refocus you.
Yes, but I've created it with time in mind. None of the sessions are going to be more than 10 minutes except for one in the morning, because actually if you do mindfulness in the morning for a longer period of time, it lowers your cortisol, which lowers your stress levels, which makes you feel better throughout your day. But we've got a 17-minute, it's Murray that does a 17-minute alternate nose and body scan session. It's actually lovely. We've cut it down to a 9-minute one for just doing the alternate nose breathing, but actually if you can do the 17-minute one, it just sets you up for the day. But that's the longest one we have, and the reason for that is that the best time to lower your stress levels for the day is actually the start of the day.
Useful.
Yes, there's 2 real ways that you can use it. So you can you'll see the packs, and you just find something that you want to listen to and you can listen to that. Or there's a little yellow star and you open that up, and you have to allow us to have access to it, but you just put in the main things that you're currently feeling, and then we'll tailor it for what you need. And then from there, you just pick, you've got the certain time or something sounds nice, you just choose that. And we're going to, and the reason that we've done the 2 packs is because some people just want what they want. And they know what they want and they just want to go and get it. And some people don't know what they want, so we've given them an option. Because it's tough to find your way into it. So, but the trick is just do it. Just get in, just do it.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Clarity app from the App Store. And
we'll put it at the end of the film. But
both
Clarity
iPhone and Android.
Yeah. Perfect.
So,
thank you very much, Becks.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Bye.